So I'm going to come on here with just a few anecdotes. And of course, I'm always trying to see what's the best time to come on. So I've got to make a run here pretty quickly, but I do want to just give you just a little quick conversation about baseball. So we'll call this part one of This Day in Black Baseball History. And this is the April 8th, 2026 edition of this ongoing conversation that we refuse to stop as long as somebody wants to talk baseball. We're going to talk about it, right? So once again, I'm Phil Dixon. Phil S. Dixon is what I go by. I'm a baseball historian with 45 years under my belt, and I am in my 46th year of actually talking about this topic. It's been pretty fascinating. It's been a wonderful journey that I've been on. And so hopefully you will go on some of this journey with me, especially now that we have this new medium. And many of you can't hear me in person to do presentations, which are completely different than this. When I do presentations, I do poetry and I bring in a lot of anecdotes. And of course, you have pictures. Pictures. I use a lot of illustrations when I go out, and I bring my trumpet along too. So I actually play the trumpet as well. So got a lot of things going on, and so we take you through a range of emotions. And I've received a lot of standing ovations over the years, giving these types of presentations. So hopefully, maybe I'll get a chance to come to your area and give a live presentation, which is completely different than what we're doing here. Of course, here, what we're doing is going back through the ages and highlighting some outstanding feats. So, one of my feats, I'm only going to go back about 3 days, believe it or not. And I have this feat. So let me go back to the one. I'm going to give you two, and then I'm going to be out of here. But I'm going to come back for part three because I have some big news that I want to bring to you guys. When I say big news, I mean big news. I don't know if it gets bigger than this, but it's always good news. How about that? So, all right. So we're going to go to April the 8th, 1909. And the New York Age newspaper, that's an African American weekly newspaper published in New York, they said that they were in receipt of a letter from Bud Fowler, and that's Bud Fowler, the legendary baseball player, the first uh, recognized African American to play in the minor leagues, play minor league baseball all over the country. So he was just a fabulous player, usually the best player in the league. So if you can imagine this, if you're the best player in the league and they kick you out of the league, just imagine if you're no good. So he was generally the best player in the league, and that won him his exit, guys. Bud Fowler, how about that? And Bud Fowler now is a member of the Major League Baseball Hall of Fame since 2021. Took him long enough. He's the only Hall of Famer who actually lived in Cooperstown for a period. So none of these guys who are in the Hall of Fame ever lived there, but Bud Fowler did. So the reason I mentioned Bud Fowler today because they received a letter and he had informed them that he had written a song and it was entitled the Royal Giants. And of course, the Brooklyn Royal Giants is who he's referring to, and that he had dedicated the song to Grant Home Run Johnson and William Bill Monroe, two very, very good, outstanding players that I feel should be in the Hall of Fame. I really do believe that. And I'm going to keep on pushing for that. And I'm going to do more writing on that to let people know that, well, some people need to see it in print. Some people can hear it, maybe believe it, but I like to put it in print. So support my documentation. And so he was dedicating it to them. And so anyway, let me knock this person off. And the thing about it when you do a live broadcast, you get a lot of people who come in and they're full of crap, right? And so guys, if you're serious about baseball, you enjoy baseball, this is a good place. If you're not, guys, go find something else to do. That's what I want to say, right? Okay, so we're talking about Bud Fowler, and he didn't get a good chance to show his skills, but I'm going to talk him up today. So he has this song, and it's called "The Royal Giants," and he had gotten this song published in, believe it or not, Frankfort, New York, and that was in 1909. And Fowler actually passed away in Frankfort, New York on February 26, 1913, just a few years after that. and I had the pleasure of going to where he was buried there in the cemetery, and I have a great little clip. I may put that clip back up where I went to the cemetery and a guy who was with the New York State Baseball Hall of Fame. We met him there with his dad. This was about a year ago. Of course, his dad has passed on now, but his dad was there that day, and so my wife was with me. We took some pictures. It was a great time. So that was John Bud Fowler. So let me give you another one. Uh, oh, no, no, I'm going to save this one for part two. So I'm going to give you this one here. Okay, how about we're going to go to April the 8th, 1999. Okay, so the Angels in that year had a first round pick. It wasn't actually that year, but the player was born that year. And a little tricky the way I approached it there. His name was Scott Jordan Adele, Adell. And of course, he was born on April 8th, 1999, in Shelby, North Carolina. And he was drafted by the Anaheim Angels in the first round of the 2017 draft. Now, you might remember this. It was last week where he robbed players of home runs 3 times in one game. That's going up over the fence, pulling it down 3 times in one game. How about that? Anybody remember that? So they were playing Seattle, Angels playing Seattle, and the first robbery came in the first inning. Then he did it again in the eighth inning, and then he did one more time after that. The last one was really spectacular because with the short fence, he ran down the right field line and actually leaped over the fence, fell into the crowd, and kept the ball, right? So that is a guy that was born on this date. And so I couldn't wait to talk about him. So how many people have seen that highlight? Isn't it fantastic? If you've seen that highlight, send a couple of hearts, guys. That was a something we could celebrate right now. And so when I talk about these legendary players from the past, guys, it keeps on going because things are happening all around right now with African American baseball players. And of course, in the case of Dale, he was born in Shelby, North Carolina. Do you know anybody else that's in a Hall of Fame that came from Shelby? I happen to know somebody who I grew up watching all the time. And I grew up as a Chiefs fan back in the 1960s, and when they had a really, really solid team, a little different kind of how football is now. Back then, several of the players were there for many years. And one of those players was a guy by the name of Bobby Bell. Bobby Bell was born in Shelby, North Carolina, and he is a Hall of Famer. So hopefully one of these days Adele might get to that Hall of Fame status. We'll just have to see. The verdict is out. And it's always out until you finish your career, right? Some guys look like they're a shoe-in, and hey, they retire and they're not a shoe-in, right? So, but Bobby Bell is in the Football Hall of Fame, and I had a chance to meet Bobby Bell. Actually, I may post a picture of me and Bobby Bell tonight on this live when I have to put in a photograph, right? So, love talking about him. Bobby Bell is still with us. He lives in Kansas City. I think this is pretty sad, but I think I've seen about 2 times somebody reported that he had passed away, and he is still out here kicking and moving around and doing things. So yeah, and most people don't know this that Bobby Bell was a heck of a high school baseball player, and they were recruiting him for baseball, but he ended up going to Minnesota and playing football, and the rest is history, right? So just know that Bobby Bell made some achievements, and so we got another guy from Shelby, North Carolina. I've never been to Shelby. I have the last time I was in North Carolina, I was in Rocky Mount, North Carolina. And of course, I've been to Asheville, North Carolina. I went there as a musician. And occasionally, what I'll do is I would tell some musician stories. Actually, can I tell a musician story right now? I'll give you one. Years ago, this was 1970s, we played a club called the Orange Peel, and it was in Asheville, North Carolina. And a guy named Dick Plymouth owned that club, and they had booked all of the big top black acts. And we weren't the top act, but we were on the road, as were many other groups. And so when you got there, they had all these pictures on the wall. And I remember New Birth being on the wall. And we had come into that park, excuse me, that park. I'm jumping back and forth from music and baseball, but we had come into that nightclub a week after the Commodores. So I remember talking to some young girls there. We were all like teenagers. I think I was like maybe 19 at the most. And they were telling us about this group that was there last week from Motown, and they had one hit, and it was called "Do the Bump." If you go back and look that one up, "Do the Bump." It was one of the Commodore's real early hits before they really hit it big, and they were on the same circuit as we were. So that is the Orange Peel. Now, the Orange Peel now is the building is still there, and it is one of the top venues in North Carolina for professional acts. And this is a massive club. I would love to go back there after all of these years just to see it in Asheville, North Carolina. And that was at that time called the Orange Peel. And it may be still called the Orange Peel. So, anyway, that was some of the memories I had from playing music. And I think we had come from to Asheville from I think it was Columbia, South Carolina, where we had backed up a group called the Dynamic Superiors, and then we went into Asheville and played there. So, guys, so I know a little bit about Carolina, North and South Carolina, even though I'm from Kansas City. But I'm a well-traveled, well-schooled baseball historian and a musician also. But a musician part is kind of way behind me. But I can still take my trumpet out and play the national anthem. I can still do some things, and hopefully, I will play the national anthem more this year at some sporting events. All right, so that kind of does it for this little short version of this day in Black baseball history. This is part one of the April the 8th, 2026 edition. I'm going to come back because I have some more things I'm going to talk about that happened on April the 8th, right? And I think you will find both of them pretty fascinating, right? So today, just in summary, we did talk about Bud Fowler and we did talk about uh, Jordan, of course, Scott Jordan, Joe Adele, who's playing right now and robbing people legitimately, right? There's some bad guys out there who will rob you illegitimately, but yeah, he's robbing people who are making millions of dollars a year. How about that? So that's somebody you might want to keep an eye on him because man, that was a fantastic night. Somebody said you need to give him a gold glove just for the performance that night. So, all right. So anyway, guys, I'll be back and we'll do a third edition. Now, just remember, we're going for the Barry Bonds number of subscribers, and I'm almost finished with that. And I need 762 to pass that barrier, and we're right on top of it. So just wanted to let you know that we could probably make it this evening with that third broadcast because it's always someone in there who's never heard me, and they say, "Hey, maybe he's not too bad. Let me come back and hear him again." Right? So, okay, guys, thank you, and I will see you shortly with part two. And I'll have to tell you, I also came on this morning and did what I call a sunrise edition of this day in Black baseball history, and this was before well, it was before right around 7 o'clock Central Time, so it'd be 8 o'clock Eastern, and the guys in California were probably still asleep. So anyway, well, we got it done. So we're gonna do a few more of those sunrise editions of this day in Black baseball history. So I'm gonna keep pushing it, man. I'm gonna push this like you've never seen before, and you're gonna learn more history right here in this little space than you can ever imagine. So you can go to 1,000 spaces, and I guarantee you, I'm going to give you things that you won't find. All right, especially in one place. Okay, thank you guys, and I will see you real soon. If you like what I'm doing here, don't forget to subscribe, and if you really like it, don't forget to share it. All right, thank you. I'll see you real soon.